After doing my latest video about the M13 MGMC, I decided that Enlisted should add a few new SPAAs in Enlisted, mostly to deal with the American fighter bombers and what other planes that Enlisted has, and because, well, historically it was used by ground units. Of course, in this video we're going to be talking about the SPAAs that Enlisted should add. Most of these are German. Actually, what am I talking about? All of these are German. So that said, let's get started. This video has been made possible for friends at Discord. If you haven't liked, subscribed, or joined Discord, highly suggest that you do. That said, let's start with the Vible Wind. During the early years of World War II, the Luftwaffe's air superiority meant that development of SPAA, like the Panzer formations, was not prioritized. However, as the Allies gained air superiority, the Germans needed to provide their tanks and cities from enemy aircraft. Thus, the design was the Flakpanzer IV Mobile Wagen, but a more effective solution was proposed by SS Hauptsturmführer Karl Wilhelm Krause, which approved by Hitler in 1944 with the Flakpanzer IV Vible Wind. The Vible Wind uses the Panzer IV chassis with an open-top, 9-sided turret mounting the four 2cm Flak 38 anti-aircraft guns. Production began with 87 to 105 units, built from May to November of 1944, nicknamed the Biscuit Tin by troops due to its turret shape. The Vible Wind was used to protect panzer formations from low-flying aircraft. During the Battle of Normandy, it repeatedly shot down 45 Allied planes, but due to its limited small number and anti-20mm cannons being insignificant against heavily armored planes, this led to the Flakpanzer Ostwind, which featured a more powerful 3.7cm Flak 43 cannon. Both the Vible Wind and the Oswin also serve extensively in ground support roles, with them using as, well, mowing infantry. That said, let's move to an odd addition to this SPAA series, because let's just say this was not an SPAA vehicle at all, but I thought it was a fun addition. This is the Sonderkampfwagen 222, or the SDKfz 222. From 1935 to 1944, the Germans produced a series of light armor reconnaissance vehicles known as the SDKfz program. This, or Special Operations Vehicle, 222 variant of this series was equipped with a 2cm KWK-30L55 autocannon with a single MG13 machine gun. Despite its reliability, field flexibility, and simple construction off-road capabilities, the SDKfz 222 featured a rear-mounted engine on a four-wheel chassis. The vehicle was designed by and built by Porsche Auto Union with the initial power of 3.5 liters Porsche V8 engine and was upgraded to the 3.8 liter engine with the 90 PS in 1942, giving the vehicle a top speed of 80 km per hour and an off-road speed of 40 km per hour with a maximum range of 300 km. The SDKfz 222's crew also increased to 3, reducing the commander's loadout, and several upgrades were made, including the replacement of the MG13 with MG34 in 1938, and the replacement of the KWK-30 with a faster firing KWK-38 in 1943. Over 990 vehicles were produced with all variants. Primarily used in reconnaissance battalions and panzer divisions, the SDKfz 222 performed well on the Eastern Front and the Western Front, but was also limited in the North African Front. Due to its limited ability and firepower, it was later retracted from service, although it was used by Soviet designers to develop the BA-64 light armored car. That said, let's move on to another SPAA, and like with what we said about the Vible Wind, we have the Ostwind. From 1943 onward, the Germans increasingly focused on self-propelled anti-aircraft guns, or SPAA. Due to the loss of the Luftwaffe's air superiority, the Allies had now air superiority. Then designs shifted to the 3.7cm Flak Panzerkampfwagen IV Mobile Wagen, with its successor the Panzerkampfwagen Vible Wind, and later the Flakpanzer IV Vible Wind and the Flakpanzer IV Oswin Eastwind, as its name was designed. It was developed to replace the Vible Wind. It was also a modified Panzer IV chassis with a new open-top hexagonal turret to help alleviate the smoke generated by the gun. The Oswin was armed with a 3.7cm Flak 43 anti-aircraft gun and was effective against aircraft, light armor vehicles, and light fortifications. It was a better protected turret and a more powerful armament compared to Vible Wind 2cm Flak 38 guns. In August of 1944, the Wehrmacht ordered 100 of these, but 44 were completed during December of 1944 and March of 1945. 37 of these were converted from existing Panzer IV tanks, and 7 were purpose-built. All conversions and constructions were carried out at Sagam and now Silesia. That said, let's move on to the SDKfz 251. Like I said with my previous videos, the SDKfz series was meant for special operations. In this case, whereas the 222 was meant for reconnaissance, in this case it was meant for, let's just say, anti-aircraft. By 1942, German engineers required and realized that the Wehrmacht required a light SPAA vehicle for frontline troops against low-flying aircraft. Hence, such a tank was, or should I say, such a half-track was developed. The German engineers practically put a 3-barreled AA mount equipped with 15 and later 20mm cannons onto SDKfz 251, which was a troop transporter. By the end of the time, the SDKfz 251-21 entered service. Troops were already using it as support vehicle in the later stages of the war with its roles. About 380 of these SDKfz 251s were produced until the end of the war, many of which were conversions of older modifications. That said, let's move on to the last type, and this type is another anti-aircraft, the SDKfz 6, 3.7cm flak gun capable of full auto at 150 rounds per minute, could engage enemy aircraft. Such gun was then mounted onto a half-track designed to tow the 10.5cm howitzer to combat. These trucks were then mounted with the flak 43, or the 3.7cm cannon. This conversion involved removing the backseat and adding a superstructure to install the versatile anti-aircraft gun. It was suited for aerial targets, although crews often made makeshift protections. From 1941 to 1943, 339 of these were converted out of the 750. They were later supplemented by the more numerous SDKfz 7 half-tracks. With that said, that is all it for this video. Honestly, I think really Enlisted should add these because the Germans really lack anti-air, and the Germans honestly were very famous for their anti-air in World War II. So that's that. That said, that's all it for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next one.